Have you ever noticed how some people walk into a room and instantly command attention, while others spend years trying to prove their worth and continue being ignored? The difference isn't in charisma, beauty, or money. It's in something most people completely misunderstand. For years, you were probably taught that being liked is the path to success. Be nice, please people, don't create conflict. But where exactly has that strategy gotten you? Into relationships where you feel invisible? Into work environments where your ideas are ignored? Into a life where you're always giving in, always adjusting, always losing pieces of yourself? Here's the inconvenient truth nobody told you. Being respected and being liked are completely opposite paths, and you can only choose one. The top 1% most influential figured this out long ago. They stopped trying to please and started building something much more powerful: genuine respect that doesn't depend on forced smiles or social performances. This isn't another video about positive thinking or creative visualization. It's about the real physics of human respect, tested principles that separate those who actually influence from those who just watch from the audience. And the best part? You don't need to be born with it. You don't need special connections or years of therapy. You just need to understand 5 principles that, applied consistently, completely transform how people see and respond to you. In the next few minutes, you're going to discover exactly what the most influential do differently. And more importantly, how you can start applying this today, no matter where you are right now. You know what separates those who truly influence from those who just try to please? The answer might surprise you, and even more so, it might reveal why you've perhaps been on the wrong path until now. Human consciousness works like a musical instrument. It needs to be tuned to produce harmony. But here's the problem. Most people tune their instrument to play the music others want to hear, not the music their own essence is asking to be played. This fundamental misalignment generates a destructive vibration that runs through every aspect of life. Since childhood, we've been conditioned to seek approval. Your parents smiled at you for doing certain things. Your teachers praised you for following certain rules. Your friends included you for acting in certain ways. This pattern shaped your psyche deeply and, for many, permanently. The human brain, this extraordinary biological computer, developed powerful neural circuits associating pleasing behaviors with emotional reward. Dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, an entire chemistry celebrating every time you were good, nice, likable. But nobody told you about the silent price of this strategy. Nobody explained that in this game of being loved, you were gradually surrendering something infinitely more valuable than others' temporary approval. And this is where a fundamental principle comes in: respect over likability. You were losing respect for yourself, and without self-respect, you become like an out-of-tune instrument trying to lead an orchestra. Self-respect isn't something abstract or conceptual. It has physics, a geometry in consciousness. It's the vertical force that keeps you standing even during life's horizontal storms. Likability, on the other hand, is a horizontal force. It moves you from side to side, always trying to balance yourself on others' expectations, always adjusting, always giving in. Think about that coworker everyone finds nice. He agrees with everything, never confronts anyone, always available to help even while sacrificing his own need. On his birthday, everyone shows up because he always showed up for theirs. But look closer. Important decisions are made without consulting him. His opinions don't carry weight in critical meetings. He's loved, but not respected. And deep down, he feels it. That empty feeling after spending the whole day pleasing everyone but himself. Now think about that person you deeply respect. She's not necessarily the nicest. She might even be difficult sometimes. But you know exactly where she stands. She has non-negotiable principles. She says no to the wrong things and yes to the right things, even under pressure. You might not agree with everything she does, but you respect her because she respects herself. This person has established her own frequency, and the universe responds to that clarity. The first person who needs to respect you isn't your boss, your parents, or your friends. It's yourself. Because without that internal foundation, any respect you receive from others will be built on quicksand. You'll constantly question whether that respect is real or just a reflection of your performance ability, your skill in pleasing, your willingness to diminish yourself to make others feel bigger. The interesting thing about compromising your values to be liked is that you never reach the final goal. It's like chasing the horizon. The more you run toward it, the further it moves away. The people you're trying to impress keep raising their standards, asking for more, expecting more, because you taught them that you always give in. You created a behavior pattern, and now you're trapped in it. Your lack of boundaries has become your identity in others' eyes. Every choice you make either strengthens or weakens your consciousness structure. Choosing to place respect above likability isn't a rejection of others. It's an act of radical self-love that, paradoxically, makes you more capable of loving authentically. Because real love doesn't come from need, it comes from wholeness. And you can't be whole if you're constantly emptying yourself to fill others' expectations. This brings us to a fundamental question. What sustains this self-respect over time? How do you transform this understanding into something practical, something that actually changes how you navigate daily challenges? The answer is consistency. Not that superficial consistency of showing up to work every day or responding to messages quickly. We're talking about something much deeper, something that operates at the level of true trust between human beings. Think about someone who goes to the gym for 3 straight days, takes photos, posts them on social media showing dedication, and then disappears for 2 weeks. Comes back enthusiastic, trains intensely for 2 more days, and disappears again. This pattern repeats month after month. Would you trust this person to train you? Would you believe in them as a reference for discipline? Of course not, because consistency generates trust, and the absence of it destroys any credibility that motivational words might try to build. The same principle governs all human relationships. Your partner doesn't trust you because you eloquently said, "I love you," once. They trust because you demonstrated love through repeated, predictable, reliable actions. Your boss doesn't promote you because you delivered one exceptional project under pressure. They promote you because you deliver consistent results, month after month, regardless of external circumstances. The people around you are natural observers. They're constantly collecting data about you, even without consciously realizing it. Every interaction is a sample. Every promise kept or broken is a data point. Every commitment honored or ignored is information being processed. The human brain is an extraordinary pattern recognition machine, and it's always asking, is this person reliable? Can I predict their behavior? Will they do what they say? Showing up sporadically in relationships is like trying to build a bridge with pieces that appear and disappear randomly. You might have the best materials, the noblest intentions, but if the fundamental beams aren't consistently present, the structure will never hold up. Your friends stop counting on you. Your family stops including you in important plans. Your colleagues stop consulting you on critical decisions. Not because they hate you, but because they learned you're not reliable. Consistency is especially crucial in keeping promises. Every time you say, "I'll do this," and don't do it, you deposit a small amount of distrust in the relational bank. Initially, people give you the benefit of the doubt. After all, we all fail sometimes. But as the deposits of distrust accumulate, a point of no return arrives. People stop believing what you say. They smile and agree when you promise something, but internally they've already adjusted their expectations to 0. The paradox is that rebuilding trust takes much longer than destroying it. You can demolish years of credibility with a few weeks of inconsistency. But rebuilding requires months, perhaps years, of impeccable behavior. It's asymmetric, even unfair. But that's the physics of human relationship. Trust is fragile as crystal and heavy as lead. Following through on commitments seems obvious, but observe how many people fail at this daily. That email you promised to send and forgot. That call you said you'd make and didn't. That project you took on and left half finished. Each of these small lapses is a crack in your reputation. And reputation, contrary to what many think, isn't about what you say about yourself. It's about what your actions say about you over time. Delivering consistent results doesn't mean being perfect. It means being predictable in your excellence. People need to know what to expect from you. If you promise something for Tuesday, deliver on Tuesday. If you can't deliver on Tuesday, communicate that in advance and renegotiate the deadline. Consistency is also an honest communication about limitations. But here's something few people realize. Consistency alone isn't enough if you're being consistent at the wrong things. You can be punctual every day at a job that doesn't respect your values. You can be a present partner in a toxic relationship. Consistency needs to be aligned with something bigger, something that defines the territory where you'll be relentlessly reliable. That something bigger is your boundaries. Invisible but absolutely real frontiers that separate what you accept from what you reject in your life. And here lies one of the biggest deceptions of modern culture. People believe that establishing boundaries is enough. It's not. The true transformation happens in enforcing them. Think of boundaries as your psyche's immune system. Your body has a cell membrane that decides what enters and what stays out. Nutrients enter, toxins stay out. Without this selective membrane, the cell dies. Your consciousness works exactly the same way. You need a psychological membrane that filters energies, behaviors, people. Without it, you become too porous, absorbing all kinds of external interference until you completely lose your identity. Many people make mental lists of boundaries. I won't accept being disrespected at work. I won't tolerate betrayal in relationships. I won't allow my personal time to be invaded. These intentions are beautiful on paper, but useless without action. Because the universe constantly tests your boundaries. The people around you, consciously or unconsciously, will test how far they can go. And if you don't enforce your boundaries, they cease to exist. They become just wishes without substance. Establish and enforce boundaries. This phrase seems simple, but carries profound wisdom about how to navigate human relationships while keeping your integrity intact. The first part is planning, the second is execution. Most fail at the second part because it requires something uncomfortable, confrontation. And we've been trained to avoid confrontation at all costs. Write down the behaviors you will tolerate. Be specific. Mutual respect is too vague. Define what respect means in concrete behavioral terms. Maybe it means not interrupting during important conversations. Maybe it means not making jokes about sensitive topics. Maybe it means responding to professional messages within a reasonable time frame. The more specific you are, the clearer what you're protecting becomes. Now write down the behaviors you will not tolerate. Again, be surgical in your definition. I don't accept disrespect is abstract. I don't accept yelling during discussions is concrete. I don't accept being blamed for mistakes I didn't make is actionable. I don't accept last-minute cancellations without justification is measurable. You're creating a personal code of conduct, and codes need to be clear enough to be consistently applied. Then comes the critical part, aligning your life with these standards. This means reviewing your current relationships through this lens. Is that friend who constantly cancels plans violating your boundaries? Is that boss who overloads you without recognition crossing your frontiers? Is that family member who constantly criticizes you disrespecting your definitions? The answer is probably yes in several cases. And now you face an uncomfortable choice. Enforcing boundaries means being willing to revoke access. Let this sink in deeply. You need to be willing to lose people who don't respect your boundaries. That's the cost of integrity. You can communicate your boundaries clearly, give opportunities for adjustment, but if the pattern of violation continues, you need to act. Reduce contact, leave the job, and the relationship. The specific actions vary, But the principle is universal. Boundaries without consequences aren't boundaries. The discomfort of this stance is real. You'll feel guilt. You'll question whether you're being too rigid, too selfish, too demanding. People around you will reinforce these doubts. They'll accuse you of being inflexible, of not forgiving, of creating unnecessary drama. But these voices only have power if you don't understand the physics of respect. People who respect you adjust their behavior after clear feedback. People who don't respect you find justifications to continue violating your boundaries. Protecting your energy isn't a luxury, it's a necessity for consciousness survival. Every interaction that drains you without reciprocity is a leak in your system. You work hard to cultivate inner peace, mental clarity, emotional stability, and then you allow people and situations to demolish all of that because you're afraid of seeming difficult or problematic. The result is a life where you're always exhausted, always reacting, always recovering from invasions you yourself permitted. Integrity means your interior and exterior are aligned. You act according to what you value. And valuing yourself means creating a sacred container around your energy, your time, your peace. But this container only works if you actively protect it. Because the world won't automatically respect your needs. You need to teach it through consistent actions where your red lines are. But boundaries alone still don't complete the picture of true respect. You can have clear and well-defended frontiers, but if you don't possess something specific that differentiates you, if you don't possess something you're exceptionally good at, your boundaries might seem like just arrogance without substance. The fastest way to gain genuine respect is through excellence in something specific. Master your craft. Whatever you choose to do, do it so well that your results speak louder than any words could. Respect isn't granted out of goodwill or sympathy. Respect is earned through demonstrable value. People might like you for being pleasant, but they'll respect you for being competent. And competence isn't an abstract concept. It's measurable, observable, undeniable. It's that designer whose projects always convert better. It's that parent whose children develop in a balanced way. It's that leader whose team consistently delivers above-average results. The problem is we live in a culture of generalization. Everyone wants to be good at everything. Entrepreneur, athlete, artist, thinker, influencer. This dispersion of focus guarantees mediocrity in all areas. The universe doesn't reward scattered intentions. It rewards concentrated focus over time. Choose one area. Not 3, not 5. 1. And dedicate yourself to it with monastic intensity until you become undeniably excellent. This doesn't mean ignoring other areas of life. It means having clarity about where you'll invest your mastery energy. You can be a present parent and a competent professional, but choose which of these identities will receive your excellence focus. Because excellence demands sacrifice. It demands hours that could be spent on entertainment. It demands energy that could be wasted on distractions. It demands attention that could be fragmented in multiple directions. Look at the masters in any field. They didn't get there by accident or luck. They got there through deliberate repetition, honest feedback, constant adjustment. 10,000 hours is the frequently cited number, but it's not 10,000 hours of casual practice. It's 10,000 hours of focused practice, where each session pushes the limits of what you already master. It's uncomfortable, frustrating, often lonely, but it's the price of mastery. The beauty of excellence is that it creates a natural magnetic field around you. You don't need to promote yourself aggressively. You don't need to convince anyone of your value. Your results do that for you. An exceptional writer doesn't need to explain why their books sell. A skilled surgeon doesn't need to justify why patients travel long distances to consult them. An inspiring teacher doesn't need to defend why former students continue thanking them years later. Excellence is self-evident. Whether in business, parenting, or teamwork, people respect measurable results. Not promises, not intentions, not potential. Result. That project you delivered ahead of schedule and above expectations. That complex problem you solved while others just complained. That difficult situation you navigated with grace while others panicked. These moments accumulate in the collective consciousness of people around you. They build a narrative about who you are and what you're capable of. But here's the secret that separates technical competence from true mastery. Excellence isn't just about skill, it's about reliability under pressure. Anyone can perform well under ideal conditions. The real test is what you deliver during crises, during unexpected changes, during moments when others fall apart. Because in the end, people don't respect you just for what you do, but for how you do it consistently, especially during storms. And this brings us back to a crucial point about how you demonstrate this value. How do you demonstrate this value? Through actions, not speeches. Actions speak louder than words. This phrase has been repeated so many times it's lost impact, but the truth behind it remains unshakable. People don't believe what you say, they believe what you do repeatedly. You can eloquently declare your principles on social media. You can write manifestos about integrity, courage, authenticity. But if your daily actions contradict these words, you're not building respect. You're building a facade that eventually crumbles under its own weight. And the collapse is always public, always embarrassing, always costly. True power resides in consistency between speech and action. That leader who talks about teamwork and then genuinely collaborates with all levels of the organization. That parent who preaches about honesty and then admits their own mistakes in front of their children. That friend who talks about loyalty and then shows up in difficult moments, not just at celebrations. These people accumulate respect because their lives are living testimonies of the values they profess. But here's something profound. Your current circumstances don't determine your value. You might be starting from financial zero. You might be recovering from a devastating divorce. You might be rebuilding after a business bankruptcy. None of this defines your ability to command respect, because the supreme source of respect is consistent action, regardless of circumstances. The fear of judgment paralyzes many. The fear of not being enough, of being overshadowed by more successful people, of not living up to expectations. These fears are real and can be intense. Someone might have an extremely successful partner and feel like they live in that person's shadow. They might work alongside brilliant colleagues and question their own value. They might look at competitors and feel insignificant. But notice something fundamental. Others' lack of respect shouldn't determine your self-worth. It never should, because self-worth is intrinsic, not granted externally. You don't need anyone's validation to start acting according to your principles. You don't need permission to be excellent. You don't need approval to establish boundaries. You just need to decide and then act. What really matters is that you be present. Present in your own life, not as a spectator but as a protagonist. Present in your relationships, bringing genuine energy and not just a physical body. Present in your work, delivering your best version and not just fulfilling protocol. This full presence is itself a form of respect. Respect for the moment, for the process, for the people involved. Dedicate yourself completely to what you chose to do. Not halfway, not with reservations, not saving energy for escape plans. Dedicate yourself as if this were the only life you have, because it is. Every day lived in hesitation is a day that never returns. Every opportunity for excellence wasted out of fear or laziness is a lost chance to build the respect you crave. Let your results speak for you. Not complaints about how difficult things are. Not comparisons about how others have more advantages. Not justifications about why you haven't gotten where you want yet. Result. Measurable action. Visible progress. Documentable transformation. These are the currencies of true respect. Because in the end, respect isn't about what could have been. It's not about unrealized potential or wasted talent. Respect is about what you actually did, the obstacles you actually overcame, the value you actually delivered. And this brings us to the starting point of this journey. So now you have the 5 principles that separate the influential from the invisible. Respect over likability. Consistency that generates trust. Boundaries established and enforced. Mastery in something specific. Actions that speak louder than any speech. But knowledge without application is just entertainment. So here's my question for you. Which of these principles are you violating right now? In what area of your life are you giving in too much, showing up too little, tolerating disrespect, or just talking without acting? Because you can continue exactly as you are. You can close this video and return to the same routine of trying to please, of hoping people will finally see you. Or you can make a different decision right now. Choose one principle, just one, and start applying it today. See what happens. Test whether this approach actually works in your life. What will it be? Are you going to stay in the audience, or are you going to get on stage? If you want to continue this journey of real transformation, subscribe to the channel and activate notifications, because in the next videos we're going to dive even deeper into these principles, with practical strategies you can use immediately.